Okay, everyone, in this pillar called empowerment, this is all about empowering your advocates to share your story for you. And we've already talked about the power of third-party validation and other people that don't necessarily have a vested interest in your company. The power of their influence is much greater than any advertising or sort of marketing that comes from you, because that's seen by the audience as very self-interested. But if you have these third-party people who aren't getting paid, they're just out of their own passion, are sharing how excited they are about your brand, your product, that goes so much farther in terms of influence, particularly in this age of easy sharing of information across the internet. So we're going to talk about how to empower advocates to be your voice, to be sharing word of mouth on your behalf. And remember, in our last video, we talked about what generates this, and it's surprise, really positive surprise that activates people's passions in an unexpected way, and now they're ripe to be advocates. But, and this is the important part of this pillar, you must proactively empower these advocates. You really can't take them for granted. Even though you've surprised people in a really positive way, you do have to cultivate these advocates. And so this empowerment process basically takes you through that. Now let's just talk about why you want to empower people versus just influence them. A lot of folks are about influence, and that's what a lot of advertising has tried to be a generator of, is influencing a mass audience. What we're talking about is empowering some people, not maybe everyone, but people that are going to carry your voice out to others. The first reason that, by the way, this is from Michael Wu from Lithium. There's a great blog that is listed here with the video. He pointed out 3 reasons why you want to empower instead of just influence. The first one is when you empower people, you're shifting power from yourself as the company with all the information to disseminating it out and sort of activating their power. So it's very motivating when somebody wants you to have control as an advocate. And so that shift of power acknowledges what's going on out there in the world of the marketplace. The second one is it's an invitation to exude passion, personal passion. Every one of us is passionate about something, and when someone who is sort of feeding that passion acknowledges you and sort of activates you to go out and share what you're already passionate about, you've got some great alignment there, and so it's a very powerful process. And then finally, when we think about these influential people in the market, you remember we talked about how you don't have to convince every target customer. You really just have to convince influencers who will take it out to the market. Well, in many cases, we assume influential people are naturally outgoing, or they're just ready to go share stuff, and that's not always the case. A lot of times the influencers are, in fact, connectors. In other words, they're experts, or their voice is very trusted, and they know a lot of people, but you still have to activate them. You still have to empower them to very easily carry your message. So that's really what this whole pillar of empowerment is all about. And I want to share a couple ways that you can sort of architect an empowerment strategy within your company. The first is you have to proactively find and track who these influencers are. Now, luckily, in today's internet world, a lot easier to do that. For example, we worked with a client and we were trying to set up a way of reaching out to influential video game influencers out in the internet. Well, today with tools like Twitter and other, and Facebook and everything, you can find the most active tweeters about a given topic. You can find the people who are blogging about these topics. And obviously those people have built up sort of a self-identity around being an expert in any given topic. So if you're looking for game influencers, if you're looking for legal industry influencers, they're a lot easier to find these days. But I would suggest that you have someone on your team proactively search the internet, search Twitter, find the people who are generating large followings around this particular topic, and that's a quick and easy way to make a short list of who the influencers that you want to empower might be. The other way that you can do this is to provide means for people as they visit your website or your Facebook page to self-identify as potential advocates. You can ask people, hey, we're looking for folks who might be willing to give us feedback on something, and we might be interested in sharing some of your feedback with other customers. Would you be interested in that? There are ways of doing that in very subtle or very open ways. And so giving people an opportunity as they sort of interact with you through various touch points to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm a big fan. I'd love to learn about how I could be a part of a customer early review program, a beta program, a customer council, any of that kind of stuff usually attracts these types of people. Okay, a third concept is, how are you going to show them, these advocates, love and status? Now let's be honest, people, they might have a personal interest in what you do, but if you don't give them some emotional value back as an advocate, if you don't empower them by giving them some value such as attention or some sort of status. There's a reason people blog about things. It's not just because they're only passionate about it. They kind of like the attention that they get by being an expert on something. And so if you help feed that a little bit with recognition and a bit of status within the relationship, then you're going to feed their loyalty. They're going to come back and say, yeah, this is a company that respects who I am and what my voice is. So finding a way to show them, you can do that through, for example, a lot of folks are doing blogging councils, so they invite bloggers who are big on a topic to their company. They meet the president, they take a tour of the company, you just sort of wine and dine them a little bit. And they're human beings, they're certainly going to be influenced by that approach. The final, the next piece is make it easy. And what I mean by make it easy is, don't make the advocate's job very hard by not making it easy for them to find out something to talk about on your behalf. And so what a lot of folks do is, let's say for example you've got a blogging council together, influential bloggers, and you bring them into your company for a visit. You want to feed them with information that first of all excites them, but also it might be personalized. So you don't give every blogger exactly the same thing. You might say, hey blogger A, here's a unique photo of this product that we're going to launch. Here's a little bit of information. Maybe here's an interview with one of the developers. And so that's how we're going to set you up to be empowered to tell the story. But blogger B might, doesn't want to talk about exactly the same thing as this other person. So you've fed that person information that's a little bit slightly different, maybe some different photos or different information that might help them feel excited about having something unique to share. So you make their job easy. You just sort of feed them information. It's not unlike what traditionally has happened in traditional media PR. Every magazine doesn't want to write the exact same story. So you give that reporter something unique to get them excited. And then finally, you do not, in any circumstance, want to make your advocates look bad. So you do have to be honest. Again, this goes back to authenticity and being very open. You have to sort of give them the inside scoop that you say, look, we are aware that our product has a potential weakness, but here's what we're doing to fix it. And so we're going to give this information to you in, a little bit earlier than the rest. But you do have to, kind of show yourself as authentic. If you try to trick or you try to just give an advocate partial information and then it proves to make them essentially look bad when they share it and it doesn't come true on your behalf, then I guarantee you've lost them as an advocate. So these are just some things to be thinking about in terms of why you would want to empower advocates, and then some specific ways that you can reach out to them and make that happen.